Welcome back. We are the Monsters in the Morning. Dan Jiggetts and Mike Norton. We're joined by John Crist, the publisher of the Bear Report. And John, let's get to this thing, a developing situation between Bears linebacker Brian Urlacher and club GM Jerry Angelo. Jerry was more than a little miffed about Brian's comments to a reporter from YahooSports.com.
We don't need anybody, within making them tougher. And we want to stay focused on the job at hand, and that's winning each and every week. That's where our focus needs to be. That's where all our energies need to be. At the end of the season, then we look at ourselves, evaluate the things that need to be evaluated, fix the problems, and again, come out better. But right now, everybody that's a Chicago Bear needs to be pulling for the Chicago Bears, needs to be doing everything they can to make sure that Chicago Bears are being the best they can be.
I love it. I love it. I don't agree with Jerry Angelo too often, but boy, I'll tell you what, needs to be pulling for the Chicago Bears pretty strong. I don't think Brian was pulling against the Bears, but the way that Brian talked, I agree with Jerry Angelo 100%.
Now,
Shut up if you ain't playing.
Did you agree or disagree with what he had to say?
Well, no. Brian, I agreed with the Orton thing. Of course I agreed with that. They had the perfect quarterback to move on with.
But in a situation where your team is struggling, and it's not going to do you any good.
Well, no, you didn't say
it's not going to do the team.
No, but I agreed with what he had to say. The timing was wrong, and the
I
message
think both guys are really at fault right here, because there's a lot of people who agree with what Brian Urlacher said, and I think there's a lot of truth behind what he said, but you can't do that. And not when you're on injured reserve, not when your team is out there going through a miserable season and misses you. You can't say those things. I mean, he knew what he was getting into when he invited Michael Silver into his home and watched that game. Everything was on the record. But again, I think Jerry is at fault a little here too, because as you guys said earlier in the program, we'd already forgotten about this. We
yesterday
live in a
came on.
24-hour news cycle. This had, for the most part, gone away. So I know that Jerry felt the need to respond. He should have done it on Tuesday. He shouldn't have waited until the week.
On the TV yesterday, though? They were talking about.
I was up in the box.
You were up in the box.
Right.
It didn't go away. They were talking about it.
Yeah,
really early.
The question,
it's all over.
The question is, would it have dissipated though if he had addressed it earlier in the week and then just let it go?
I think they would. I think Dick Stockton and them would have still brought it back.
They would have, but
But guys like me today at Hallis Hall would not. To us, that story had been written, it had been done, weighted, measured, it was over with. But now, the reporters around town, TV, media, radio, everybody, they're going to have to ask this question of Lovie Smith again today at Hallis Hall, because Jerry Angelo felt the need to respond. He should have done this 5 or 6 days ago. I agree with what he said. I'm on his side, because we all know Brian Urlacher has a serious case of knuckleheaditis from time to time. But now he's swamped it up again. You got to go through it again.
Do you agree? Because they're saying
he swamped it up again.
Yes, this wrist injury that he has, a lot of people say, especially for the position he plays, is a nasty career.
Yeah.
Career can be a career ender.
It can be. When you start talking about nerves, that can be trouble for a football player.
Absolutely. So, you're right. It's absolutely. There was no call from
before we spring. I know you're a big fan of college football.
One of the biggest.
You got a vote too on the Heisman?
Yes, I did. I was just very happy to fill out the vote for the first time. I got the invite, and I was very happy just to be a part of that process.
Now I know we could, but I don't know if you want to say who you voted for. But
no, I'm going to wait till.
Let me just ask you this: was it a quarterback?
It was not a quarterback.
No, the quarterback.
I did not have a quarterback atop my ballot. And if you would have told me a year ago that I would have filled out my ballot and atop it would not have been Bradford, Tebow, or McCoy, I wouldn't have believed you. That's pretty hard to believe, and that's one of the things you love about college football, because you never really know.
Colt McCoy had a better year last year. He had a better year last year.
When you think about it, all those
Tim
guys.
Tebow had a better year 2 years ago.
Yeah, Bradford definitely did.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you this before we spring you to the BCS. Mike and I have been going back and forth about this, and you look at Boise State and TCU. It was really clever the way that they worked things out.
Oh, isn't it something?
If
they never want them playing the top schools and beating their brothers.
If one team was going to get a chance, it maybe was going to be TCU.
Well, I don't understand why.
It happened last year. Because Utah went in there and played Alabama. Alabama had national championship aspirations. They lost the SEC championship game. And they got bounced by Utah.
They said Alabama really wasn't interested in playing in that game.
But wait a minute.
So it's the same thing that happened in Florida this year against Cincinnati?
A couple of years ago, Utah did the same thing.
Of course, he did.
Look, it's a joke.
Boise State beating Oklahoma on the Statue of Liberty play. They don't want to see that stuff.
I look at teams like Texas, and what I see are a bunch of spoiled brats that don't know how to play defense.
How about USC? USC, they're horrible. I watch them. They're still in the top 25 in the BCS.
Well,
that is a joke.
Hold on.
That is a joke.
You got teams.
I told you the Pac-10 was
Wisconsin.
Remember, they put out those great pros like Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush. You know, those first-team All-Pro guys.
Those guys that went off the defense last year, they can play a little bit.
How about Charlie Weiss opening his mouth? I wouldn't get. He's good. He just cut off half his.
I don't know who's running his PR team, but they need to be picked up in a hurry.
That was uncalled for.
If he wanted to make it that much more difficult to get an OC job in the NFL, he just did it.
What do you think? Where do you think he's going to go?
I think that's probably what's going to happen because he does have. I mean, even though he struggled as a head coach at Notre Dame, you know, when he had a quarterback and had a system, he put some points on the board. He just couldn't recruit enough players who can stop.
But would you
anybody.
agree? There's some people that took him off the list after yesterday.
Sure. Yeah, I don't think he helped himself.
No.
It wouldn't be shocking if he ended up in Cleveland.
I think he directed himself back to the NFL with those comments.
Probably.
Well, good
He's
because the
better fit
NFL
there.
is straight-laced and pure.
Well,
He's better fit there.
they don't really care about it as much as I think people in college.
I mean,
If he scored 29 points a game, you're
if
fine.
you're a player or coach and you're one of the players, you don't want him around anywhere near you. No.
At any rate, my friend, we've got another gift certificate to market.
There you go, my friend.
13
Thank you.
Randolph.
Oh, I was there on Saturday when I had my college football day. I recommend the Bambino. It's one of the best pizzas.
Oh, don't worry. I'm sure that
right?
Andrew Jones will be sampling it when he gets into town.
Oh, yeah.
Easy. Hey, John, thanks so much. We'll see you next week.
No problem.
Time for a break here on the Monsters in the Morning. Coming up next, we're going to take a look at that BCS bowl picture, including the national championship game when hour number 2 comes up next.
Sunshine came softly through my